Welcome to this video. This time, we're going to focus on your relationship with all the gadgets in your life. And what don't we all have a lot of gadgets in our life? That is really the quality of being in this world at this time, is that we have gadgets here, there, and everywhere. So to begin, I want to invite you to follow the next out breath all the way down to the bottom of the breath. Notice this is one way to access your internal home base. And it's a place that's always there. It's actually where your radiating presence arises. And within this place of core presence is that steadiness that is never disturbed, never, ever. Just notice it's the steadiness that is never disturbed, no matter what, no matter what. Also, here in this place is your resource of quiet. And this is also a quiet that is never disturbed, not ever, ever, no matter what's happening. Some people experience it as a stillness. So you might identify it as an undisturbed stillness or the undisturbed quiet. And just notice how it is to rest there for a moment. This is a true place of refuge. And it's with you every moment of every day. You carry it with you. This time, I really want to share some things that you might think are way out there, but they do manage to contribute to quality of life if this resonates with you. And that's really what I'm trying to share in these videos, is what supports quality of life and a sense of being connected in a living universe. So think about your objects, and I'm going to suggest that you and your objects actually have a real and dynamic reciprocal relationship. It's not just you utilizing your gadgets. I would propose that you are engaging a relationship with objects that can be responsive. And I don't mean they're like people and they're going to talk to you, but maybe they will. If that's your world, that's cool. But what I mean is we have the opportunity to have collaborative relationships with everything around us that we consider objects. I thank everything in my apartment for its service to me. I am always in relationship with what's around me. And my gadgets and I have become very good friends, so that there are times my computer takes me to places I didn't know I needed until I get there. And then suddenly I have a resource available that I didn't know existed. And I'm not doing that because I'm searching Google and finding it. I'm doing it often because my computer just somehow does something which I don't understand and takes me to a website or something, somewhere that offers me some information I need and hadn't realized was available. It also, this idea of interacting with our objects also goes back to something I've talked about before, which is acknowledging, respecting, and thanking the objects that we engage with. Really acknowledging this object, this computer, this phone, this iPad, this, my vacuum cleaner. I know this sounds ridiculous, but every week I thank that vacuum cleaner for working so well to help me keep things tidy when I've got a lot of fur from cats all over the place. And I'm just very grateful. And it looks and sounds crazy, I know, but I thank the vacuum cleaner every time I use it. I thank everything, but that's just an example. So I would ask you to consider, now this is just to consider because who knows what's actually real anyway. We just all think we know something. Consider for a moment what it's like if you imagine that your gadgets have consciousness of some kind, probably not a kind you can relate to at an experiential level, but some kind of consciousness, that you are interacting with something that is aware, probably not at all in the way you are, but is aware of how you think about it, how you treat it, how you engage it. Actually, as I'm saying the word it, I'm remembering Robin Wall Kimmerer, I think it was, mentioned one time that in her world, the word it has been replaced by the word kin, that to call a tree or something else an it is not used. So when I'm talking about computers or phones or pads or clocks or vacuum cleaners as its, I actually wish I could find another word, because it puts it over there as if it's just stuff, instead of something I am in relationship with. So find the word that works for you. It may have to do for right now, but notice how it feels. If you realize that those gadgets you interact with can feel or register how you feel about them. I think of the people who are just so tech phobic and have nothing but problems with their gadgets. They just don't know how to have a relationship that is reciprocally beneficial. And I know this is out there, but just play with this if it's okay. So if you were to get to know your gadgets as living presence, notice how that would be for you if when you're starting your day, you say good morning to whichever gadget you're on first, thank it for everything it allows you to do, because how would we live these days without our gadgets? And to bring respect and acknowledgement. Another way actually to extend the awareness of our interconnection is to think about not only all the people who have to do with bringing these gadgets into being and then bringing them to us, the people who manufacture, the people who ship and deliver, the people who sell them. There are a lot of people involved in these gadgets coming to us, but also the natural resources that go into creating a phone you hold in your hand, or right now, for me, a computer I'm talking into that's in front of me, or the other little computer I have down here that's got my notes in it. All of these required so many people and other resources to find their way into this moment. That's another way to reinforce your experience of our interdependence on every possible thing on the planet, our interdependence, our interconnection. In fact, notice how your body feels, if you take a moment just to recall how much goes into bringing your phone to your hand, that we are part of such a complex wholeness. And when we can remember that and bring gratitude to it and appreciation to it, I think that helps our quality of life. So I'm going to ask you to do an experiment over time. Start asking your gadgets for help. If you're having a problem with your gadget, ask it, what do you need? What can I do? One day my computer was acting wonky and I couldn't figure out why. And I just asked, what needs to happen here? And then a few minutes later, I thought, oh, right, restart the computer. Because I looked on Google and fixing this problem the way it was described on Google was going to be way too complicated for me. So I asked the computer, and now did the computer give me that answer? I'll never know. But remember way back in the first video, I mentioned that one of the really important qualities is being receptive and open to receiving impressions. And you don't have to follow them all, but when you get out of the way and let things drop in, you can often touch into guidance you hadn't realized was available. So I know this is all a little out there for our Western culture to imagine objects as being relationships we're having that actually have reciprocal qualities to them. But I just invite you to play with this and see what happens. And also for anybody who's watching this video who is intimidated by their gadgets, try sending them love and see what happens in you if you open your heart to them. In fact, for anybody having difficulty with any gadget in your home, at work, wherever, send love. Send love and appreciation and ask for help. See what happens. Nothing to lose, because if the problem continues, oh well, it was there anyway. And you might have an inspiration or some synchronicity might show up. And I'll do another video on synchronicity at some point. But some synchronicity might show up that just opens the way to resolve what you need. And so for this time, this is probably wacky enough. So I will close for now until next time. Take good care.